Okay, so the county is running low on cash for open space. How serious is this? What's at risk?
What's at risk is a 40-year legacy of protecting land and the water that we drink that lies below it. It's a top priority of government. We could stop doing a whole bunch of things, but this is not one of them.
How will this affect the quality of life for Long Islanders if the open space preservation slows down to almost a crawl?
Long Island's number one industry is tourism. Its number two industry is farming. It's the way we live. We live on an island with tremendous natural resources that people pay a whole lot to live here because of. If we lose all that's around us, then we don't even have a reason to stay.
Okay. What do you think the county should do now? After all, this is a $500 million deficit that we're facing.
In tough economic times, you have to figure out what needs to stop temporarily and what needs to get put off. You can't put off land preservation because it's not there to go back to. If the land gets developed, it's lost forever. So it's the one thing that you can't afford to put off. Water quality is declining precipitously. Studies recently completed show what we do on the surface of this island affects our underground drinking water below. We're not going to reverse the declining quality of water. We're not going to have potable water if we don't change that, and part of that involves preserving the land above it.
You said the legislature should make this a much higher priority. What do you mean by that?
We have an economic emergency. There's triage. We need to decide what needs to be addressed first, and the public health and safety is job one of government. And public health and safety requires protecting drinking water and the land that does protect it.
What specifically do you think the county should do in the face of this deficit to keep the land protection program going?
The county has to reprioritize a 40-year commitment to the legacy of land by working with the state and the towns, each doing what they can do and each finding the dollars that allow the program continue, maybe not at high speed, but not be lost.
You've also said that the county should consider dipping into the general fund. Isn't that a tough thing to do in today's circumstances?
The public for the last 20 years has put up extra money to give to government because this is important. They can't afford to do that now, so government needs to make it part of the important things that government does. And there's nothing more important than the public health and safety.
Won't there be a backlash if the legislature actually increases the county's deficit by expanding land preservation that way?
It's not so much expanding it that we need, it's maintaining it. And a survey at the height of the recession showed that 80% of the public want us to continue to buy at these levels or above these levels because the price of the land is lower and bargains are to be had. The public supports on its own greater than 80% protecting drinking water and open space. I wonder if any of the politicians enjoy that kind of support. Right now we're having a crisis in the quality of Long Island's drinking water. There's 200% more pollution in our aquifer than there was just 15 years ago. When we protect the land, we protect the water under it. We must do that if we're to survive economically or environmentally.
You've also suggested that maybe the county should consider another referendum to increase the quarter penny environmental sales tax to a half a penny. Do you think that will fly?
The state is resisting any increase in sales taxes, but the fact of the matter is we do need, at the same time we're cutting back on government expenses, to provide more income. One-shots don't do that, but a quarter penny of the sales tax hasn't really been felt by taxpayers very much, and it is the least painful way to get this job done.
Does the state have any responsibility here? They've basically pulled out of open space preservation at this point.
The state is as much to blame as the county. It's just that the impacts of the county cutbacks and they're redirecting funds to other places is more malicious and has a greater harm on the people of Long Island. Let me try it a slightly different way. The state has abandoned its commitment as well, but Long Island didn't depend as much on the state as it has on the county to protect water and preserve these lands. So when the county cuts back or they take money that doesn't belong to them from the drinking water program, they're being bad in ways that more adversely impact Long Islanders.
You're referring to what the legislature did last year to rejigger the formula for how proceeds from the quarter-cent sales tax are spent.
5 times the public said we'll give government extra money exclusively for the purpose of protecting drinking water, and last year the legislature said we don't care what the public said, we don't care whether it's legal, we're going to take it because we need it. That's not right.